Okay, I got asked problem 10.9, problem number 7. So read it out of the book. Basically, let me just kind of look at this here. It says, a trucker has a citrus fruit from Florida to Montreal. Each crate of oranges... Okay, I'll bring this up. So basically, each crate of oranges is this much volume, and it weighs this much weight. The grapefruit has this much volume, takes up this much volume, and has this much weight. Then it says the truck's max capacity for volume is this, and this for weight. Then it says that you need to transport... you cannot transport more grapefruit than oranges, so I said the grapefruit needs to be less than or equal to the number of oranges, crates of oranges. Then we have our profit equation right here. $2.50 we'll get per crate of oranges and $4 per crate of grapefruit. Okay, so I've now set up some true statements here, some inequality true statements, which is what we're going to end up graphing. So the first one I did was for volume. So for X, I call oranges X and grapefruit Y. So 4X plus 6Y needs to be less than or equal to the 300 volume. See, volume, volume, volume. Then weight is 80X plus 100Y. Has to be less than or equal to 5,600 pounds. See, pounds, pounds, pounds. And then I set up this true statement. See, looking here, the grapefruit, remember, is Y. This is X. So we said X needs to be greater than or equal to Y. Oranges needs to be greater than or equal to the number of crates of grapefruit. Then here's our profit true statement. So now remember, this is where we graph basically this portion. We don't graph the profit. That's where we plug in our vertices. So from here, with this true statement, I've gone to graphing it, which can be the hardest part since you don't have a graphing calculator. I do think on the test they'll make it pretty easy, straightforward. So just don't stress too much. Just you're going to do your best. So as I went through, I got each of these into y equals mx plus b form because I like graphing that if I have to do it without a calculator. So notice I've done the math already here just because the video would have been too long otherwise. So I took that first equation and I got it into y equals mx plus b form, giving me this. I took that second equation so this one was for volume, for weight. I've then got it into y equals mx plus b form, the simplified version. It's easier for me to see. And then y needs to be less than or equal to x. So then I've gone through and I've graphed it. I just have the profit equation written. Now, as I was graphing it, it was kind of hard and it's kind of hard to see. So I graphed it a little bit bigger now. Okay, so if you look at this, I've gone right here's the negative 2/3 x plus 50. So obviously this is up at 50 right here, and then 56 just a little bit higher. They both have negative slopes, so they both look about like this. Then we need to graph the y is less than or equal to x. So that's just about like this. And then I shaded in those regions. So that gave me 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Now, obviously, what we do now is we've got to figure out what are those vertices. What are the x, y points of the vertices? So you have to look at where they intersect, like what two things intersect. So in this first vertice right here, I noticed this y equals x is intersecting with negative 2/3 x plus 50. So that's why I've gone through right here and said, okay, if these are our two equations that are intersecting, set them equal and solve for x. So I've set y equals x equal to y equals negative 2x plus 50. See, x equals negative 2/3 x plus 50. I've then gone through and solved for x. So I added 2/3 x over, got 5/3 x equals 50. Solved for x, I got x equals 30. So then I took 30 and plugged it back in to either of the equations. Up here's the easiest. So I plugged it in 30, therefore y is 30. So then what I do is I plug x and y into our profit equation. So I've gone and plugged it in to right here, 250 times 30 plus 4 times 30, and I got $195 of profit. Okay, then our other vertices right here. Notice that's this line and this line intersecting, therefore it's this and this. See, I've written that down. Those are our two lines that are intersecting. So I set them equal and I solve for x. So I added 2/3 x over, subtracted 56 over, giving me this. Then I solved for x, times by 15, divided by negative 2. So then I got x equals 45. I then plugged it into the top equation, solved for y. So I get y equals 20. When I plug it into my profit true statement, I get $192.50. So that's our next vertice. Then this vertice right here, that is when this line right here, which is this equation, that equals 0. So I set it equal to 0, solve for x. I got x equals 70, obviously y equals 0. I plug that in into our profit equation and I get 175. Now obviously 0, 0 is not going to be the maximum profit, because if you have 0 and plug in 0, you're going to get 0 profit. So which one gave us the most profit? Well, it was when this one right here, when x equaled 30 and y equaled 30. So it's actually even amounts of crates, which would be your answer.